These are the world's first ChatGPT headphones. Talk with ChatGPT, translate a conversation between friends who speak different languages, and have Spotify play from your headphones case rather than from your phone. These are the iKKO ActiveBuds. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably had one of two reactions to that. Either you thought, oh wow, that's so cool, or you thought, what's the point? Don't worry, I've had both of those reactions now, so let me explain what the deal is with these things, and trust me, this is one you want to watch. Let's start by taking a look at this thing at face value, the features. This is essentially an Android phone with TWS headphones built in. It features a slide-open compartment for the headphones, which is beautifully reminiscent of the old style sort of slide-open phones that anyone over like 20 years old had at some point. It's a satisfying flick. On the front, you'll find a 1.8-inch AMOLED display. They don't quote an exact resolution, just 326 ppi and 500 nits. I assume peak brightness anyway. Inside the case is a quad-core ARM A53 based chip, making it a rather low performance and not amazingly efficient chip either. The headphones are IPX4 rated, meaning they're sweat-proof. On the battery front, iKKO claims 100 hours of standby time on 4G and 12 hours of runtime for the case, plus 6 hours of battery life on the headphones with active noise cancellation on, plus another 24 hours from the case, assuming the case didn't use the battery itself, which it rather obviously does. Lastly, you've got both Wi-Fi and 4G connectivity with a SIM card tray on the left-hand side. As for the main features, the intro kind of mentioned them, that being integrated TWS headphones, a ChatGPT app, and live translation. I'll dig more into each of those, starting with the headphones. You would imagine for a set of headphones that cost as much as these do, and from a brand known for making some fantastic IEMs, these would be some of the best sounding headphones you've heard. Sadly, it seems that most of the money for this thing went into the Android case, leaving only a fraction for the actual headphones themselves. The audio quality from these is genuinely one of the worst sets of headphones that I've heard. Straight out of the box, they are compressed, lacking just all of the bass and treble, and honestly just sound like a mid-2000s phone's built-in speaker in your ears. I wish I had the really fancy testing gear to be able to show you empirically just how naff these are, but unfortunately I don't, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it, at least for now. I was somewhat hopeful that the fancy EQ modes that iKKO brags about, the self-tuning EQ sound, would be the savior here. But no. The only mode that gave passable audio quality was the rock mode. Everything else made the quality noticeably worse. Just to emphasize how bad these sound, let me give you a sort of demonstration. Here is a royalty-free track. Now, here's what it sounds like when you use basically any of the EQ modes other than rock. Original, EQ. Yeah, absolutely dreadful. And the icing on the cake here is the entire user experience. How do you think you change the volume on these headphones when you're playing music from the case itself? You know, the most basic functionality that a pair of headphones can offer. How do you think you would do that? Maybe the big sort of up and down slider on the front that looks an awful lot like a volume control, you know, your up and down buttons. And nope, that just works as a scroll wheel in certain apps and certain menus. Okay, maybe it's in that quick menu option. That would make some sense. Yeah, no, it's not there either. You do have the option to mute here, but not to actually change the volume. Would you have guessed that you have to hold down the power button as if you're gonna hard reset the device? No? No, me neither. But there you go. Also, in a comical twist, pressing the up button on the front does in fact increase the volume on this screen. But you know what doesn't work? The down button! The down button does not decrease the volume. You can only turn up the volume here, and then you have to use the on-screen button to put it back down again. Amazing. This is a fundamental function of headphones. So for this to be buried in this one place only and not accessible, or at least readily accessible, is a microcosm of what's wrong with this thing. Another key and frankly basic function of a set of Bluetooth headphones is that they connect to your device via Bluetooth. Do you know what seems to get turned off every time I put the headphones back in this case? You guessed it, Bluetooth. Yeah, you need to swipe open the menu, hold long press settings to open it, then go to connect to devices, and then turn on Bluetooth, then wait for it to connect, and then you can go back to actually playing your music or whatever else you wanted to do. Otherwise, when you take the headphones out and Bluetooth is off and it doesn't connect to the case, it just blares the music out of the integrated speaker in the case. And of course you can't control the volume of that without long pressing the power button too. Again, this is fundamental, a fundamental function of wireless headphones, and it just doesn't seem to have been thought about here. And another fundamental function of a media player is media controls. If you happen to be in this Spotify app, you can use the hilariously small icons to play, pause, or change tracks. If you leave Spotify, say to actually connect the damn headphones, you can't do anything to pause the music, except painstakingly reopen Spotify as if it wasn't already playing music in the background, then open their media controls and pause from there. You would think that maybe you could swipe down from the top to get, on the home page to get a sort of quick access menu and pause it from there, but no, there is no quick access menu. The quick menu that's at the top of the menu that isn't very quick to access, well, that doesn't contain any media controls here. Hell, even the volume and restart menu doesn't have them. Best case is if the headphones are connected, you can double tap to pause or play, but as far as I can find, that's it, besides opening the specific app you were using. Another fundamental feature of media playback seems to have been overlooked. Now, since we've talked about Spotify a fair bit, I think it's worth mentioning that to install Spotify, you need to open the iKKO store and install it from there. Except, it's clear that it just downloads what I have to assume is a heavily modified version of the Spotify APK file. Not through the Play Store, but from their servers. And here's the kicker. You need to manually enable the install from unknown sources setting in settings for this to install anything. To make that clear, you need to disable a key security feature that prevents malware from being installed in order to use the main advertised features of this product. That should be enough to make you run for the hills. Now, back to the bigger picture, the App Store is remarkably barren. Here is the complete list. Spotify, Gboard, iKKO's wrapper on Google Translate, iKKO's wrapper on ChatGPT, their own music app, and the App Store itself. Apple Music? Nope. YouTube Music? Not here. Any kind of communications app that isn't the pre-installed phone or messages app? Nope. To be clear, their main product page states Apple Music support in this, kind of collage here. It's right on the main screen, but it's missing from the App Store. I guess that's the more app updates coming soon part that they're talking about. In fact, of the 9 apps that they show in that image, at least clear enough to make out, only 6 of them are actually on this device. Map and Time Focus, which I assume are iKKO's own apps, are also missing too. One frustration I've mentioned but haven't yet commented on is the requirement to long press apps in the main menu to open them. While I get that this might be some sort of pocket dial protection type deal, it isn't explained or even all that obvious. I had to work it out. If you happen to watch one of their videos explaining some of the more advanced features, you might happen to pick it up, but you shouldn't need a YouTube video to explain an incredibly basic function. That's just bad UI. And actually, in the same vein, why can you only access the quick menu from the main menu via a swipe and a long press? That's hardly quick. Why can't you just swipe from the top like you would do on an Android phone or a Wear OS watch? Another nitpick, in fact, is the whole volume reset menu page. How do you think that you would return to the app you were just in after changing the volume? Pressing the power button again to close it, maybe? Nope, that just turns the screen off or at least returns you back to the home page. Press the home button? Nope, that's the same deal, takes you back to the home page. Would you think that it would be pressing the X button to do it? Because I didn't. I thought that would close the app I was just in. You know, like the whole cancel, close apps in the background type thing that Android has. But no, it's the back button. Really, if it is a back button, it should have the back button icon, not the X. Now, one of the key highlighted features is the active noise cancellation, which does work, if somewhat poorly, as there is a noticeable drop in audio quality when it's enabled, which is kind of remarkable considering the audio quality in general. But the thing that gets me is, how do you turn it on? There's nothing in the quick menu, there's nothing in settings. It just turns out that there are actually two different ways to do it, but neither of them are particularly obvious. The first is to long press the capacitive button on the right headphone to change the mode. Or even less obviously, from the home screen, you can swipe up or down on this specific area to scroll through transparency, ANC, or standard modes. Nothing else on this homepage UI is something you can interact with. So how the hell would you know that you can swipe just this specific bit to get it to change the UI, the mode? That's just really bad UI design. And the last, and one of the most disappointing parts of the user experience I want to highlight is the interaction between the case, the headphones, and your phone. While it might be handy to have this as a standalone device, odds are you probably want to connect your headphones, your Bluetooth headphones, to your phone, and I mean, you got your phone on you anyway, so you probably want to do that. You would kind of hope that this, you could just pair to the case, pair to one device, and then that would pair the headphones, and the case would act much like an Android smartwatch would as a media controller. Sadly, as best as I can tell, you're just connecting two phones together for like Bluetooth file transfers, and the headphones are completely separate. Once you connect the headphones to your phone, the case is essentially worthless. It's a battery drain, if nothing else. There's zero interaction between the case and the headphones, save for charging, at least in that instinct. I mean, hell, the volume control doesn't even work. The only thing that might change, assuming the sort of case actually has Bluetooth on, is your ability to change the active noise cancellation mode from the display. But otherwise, that's it. On a technical level, there's another problem with this basically being an Android phone with some headphones built in. It drains the battery in 3 or 4 days without you ever touching it. If you forget to charge your headphones phone case for a couple of days, it will be as dead as a dodo in under a week. I don't think that I charge my regular TWS headphones more than like once a month. What's even funnier is that I actually left these plugged into a charger for a full day. I was somewhat incapacitated with my various disabilities, so kind of forgot about them. When I came to test them the next day, they were dead, still plugged into a working charger. I couldn't write a worse story for these. So that's the ActiveBuds. Well, hold on. Wasn't I meant to talk about something? Oh right, the ChatGPT thing. Yeah, it has it. It works fine. It cuts off the responses somewhat regularly. The whole tap to start and stop listening is clunky and doesn't register clicks all that often. It's pretty sort of unresponsive. It's a less usable experience than using the ChatGPT app on your phone. And also, if you don't like the voice that it uses, you can switch it to a different AI voice in the settings, except you can't because that's still coming soon. Why even put the button there then? Also, the default language was Chinese, so you'll need to change that too. The Translate app is really just Google Translate. It works fine enough with the same sort of clunky press to start and stop listening feature, although it has the added gimmick that you can put one headphone in your ear and the other headphone in someone else's ear, so you can have a back and forth conversation. Except if you need to translate, you probably don't know the person very well, and I don't know who would accept an in-ear headphone from just a rando. I certainly wouldn't. You do have the option of using the cases, speaker and microphone as the other side, but again, using the Google Translate app on my phone works way, way better, and it's just a lot less clunky and weird. Just like the ChatGPT app, this is clearly unfinished. This has the same coming soon option for the AI voice, but weirder is if you go to select the notepad icon on any of the options, or go to memos and documents, you get a black screen with a red bin button and on the bottom left and a sort of check icon on the bottom right. And hitting either of those buttons just displays a dialog that says, please select at least one option. What options? It's a black screen! Clearly, this is still a work in progress. So to recap, this is an insecure custom version of Android with 4G connectivity and sideloaded, modified versions of popular apps, aka Virus Central and a security nightmare. It's also a terrible UX, just dreadful. They forgot that they were making headphones and focused so much on world's first ChatGPT that they relegated the volume control to the reboot menu. It also has terrible battery life. It's dead in 3 days on standby. Type terrible. You will never get good battery life out of the headphones because the case will kill itself before you could ever recharge them. The headphones themselves also suck. 3 out of 10 at best, and their EQ modes make that a 0 out of 10. Maybe 1 out of 10 if I'm being charitable, because they still do actually produce sound. They want currently £310 for the pleasure. No. In all seriousness, the biggest problem with these headphones is that they're clearly unfinished. The actual headphones themselves are not worth buying on their own, and the whole ChatGPT case thing, just use the apps on your phone, it's going to be a better experience. And so I can't really see a point for this thing existing, but even if you do see a point for this thing existing, the actual product itself is clearly unfinished. This clearly needs another like 6 to 12 months of development time to make all of the features that they have already advertised as working actually exist in the product, and work out all of the UI tweaks and kinks that are very much a big problem with trying to use this thing. Of course, all of those things are my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think about the concept as a whole? Like these headphones with basically an Android phone built into them or built into the case, and then also the whole ChatGPT integration, the live translation, all that sort of stuff, and well, just everything that we've talked about in the video. Let me know in the comments down below, or jump on a Discord server as well. If you are interested in these, I will leave a link to them in the description. If you do want to check them out, maybe a much lower price, it might be a reasonable choice, but either way, there'll be a link down there for you. And yeah, otherwise, if you want to see more videos like this one, probably not more ChatGPT enabled headphones, then you can hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification icon, or you can check out my own hardware that I make over at osrtt.com. You can also check out plenty of other videos on the end cards. And yeah, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all in the next video.